Hi and welcome to this preview of Evolving Food Pyramids 2.0, How to Eat to Reduce Visceral Fat. I'm Darragh Rennie. I obviously hope you go through and take a look at the 26-minute nutshell presentation. But in order to know who you're fighting, it's good to know who the enemy is. And this is visceral fat. It starts when you eat foods that overload the mitochondria in your liver, and then that develops fatty liver, and that basically spills out into the fat in your abdominal cavity, right through your arteries, and it affects everything. As Dr. Travis Stork says, it's active, it's toxic, it secretes chemicals that increase inflammation in your body, it governs the metabolism by decreasing the fat-burning hormone adiponectin, meaning you get more storage of visceral fat, which compounds on itself, and ultimately leads to all the diseases we know in the Western world. Even dementia is now being called type 3 diabetes. And I love this quote from Robert Lustig, visceral fat is the fulcrum on which your health teeters. And I love that word teeters because it just shows how precarious your health can be. Now, Dr. Jimmy Bell, looking at MRI scans in London, came up with the term TOFI, being thin on the outside, fat on the inside. So the point here is it's not an overweight person's problem. There's plenty of people that are fit and healthy and suddenly drop down dead with a heart attack in their 40s and 50s. So visceral fat really does affect most of us. And you can be a normal weight and have your liver swimming in 4 to 5 liters of visceral fat. That's not a nice picture. Now that, as far as Robert Lustig says, that translates into the difference of about 15 years of life. And it's not just the 15 years extra you might get, it's how well you feel now, how clear your mind is, and how well your body performs. Now, food can be used as a fix, or it can be used to fix you up. And the reason that is because whatever we put into our body, food or drinks, it affects our biochemistry, which affects our hormones and our gene expression, and that changes how we feel. So those things combined can either make you feel hungry and tired, or satisfied and energetic. So it's not a personality problem that you're feeling the way you do, it's a simple choice problem. And those choices determine whether this is a supportive wheel or a vicious cycle. Now I tell people to watch out for Mr. Smiley. If you had an empty fuel gauge, you wouldn't stick a smiley face on top of that and assume everything was fine, would you? No, you wouldn't. So it's the same thing when your body starts developing symptoms, whether that's blood pressure, blood sugar, blood fats, or whether it's just your body's your waistline's expanding, that visceral fat is expanding, and you just can't seem to keep it at bay. So the thing is, if you get something to fix the symptom, like say the blood pressure, the real challenge here is to remember that whatever you're eating, whatever habits you've developed around food, that's created the situation you're in now. And if that's not working for you, if it's creating symptoms, then putting a drug in will just mask the symptoms. The ongoing problem carries on and gets worse and worse and worse, and that's why people end up in more and more and more drugs and more diseases. So, and it all starts with your belly fat. So the challenge here is to see what is for what is, and just get yourself in hand and start to learn some different habits you can be doing, some different things you can be eating, some different things you can be drinking to actually reverse that process. Now here's some people that have actually done that, and I say finish off visceral fat before it finishes you off, and that's exactly the process that's going on. Now I've used what I'm going to teach you to reduce my blood fats. In my mid-50s, my blood fats started to go bad. I've used what I'm going to teach you to get my blood fats back to normal purely with diet. And I was always struggled with weight myself. Ever since I was 14, I've been on and off diets because I came from a chubby family, had chubby genes, and people look at me now and think, why do you need to lose weight? So I've learned what I've learned, and it's such an exciting process for me to have had this level of result in my body through simply changing what I eat and what supplements I take. And I'd love you to have that same experience. So please pop your name, your email in the bar to the right, and you'll get instant access to the 26-minute presentation. There's also a longer one there if you want to look at it in more depth, but the 26-minute one will give you all the nutshells you need to help you take some real good steps.